freedom from fear really meant there. He was thinking more about the freedom from fear of international invasion and armaments. That is the fear that Ukrainians are feeling right now.
We'll take a look at TikTok.
We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok.
We're not doing anything with TikTok.
Joe Biden is responsible for banning TikTok.
Trump was able to seek endless delays in court, and the courts understanding that motivation, mindful of the fact that justice delayed can mean justice is denied.
Remember when Trump said he'd fix the economy with his amazing business brain? Well, yesterday the market dropped faster than Trump's approval rating when Schiff exposed his tariff tantrums for what they really are: pure economic chaos. Trump keeps flip-flopping on tariffs every time Wall Street gets a tummy ache, and Adam Schiff just called him out big time. If you're wondering why your 401k is on a roller coaster from hell, stick around to see Schiff absolutely demolish Trump's so-called economic genius.
Reached an all-time high.
It was a long, before I ever got here, it was at an all-time. This didn't, remember, I've been here for 3 weeks. And
Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And
before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Ever wonder why the stock market jumps around like it's on a sugar rush whenever Trump opens his mouth about trade?
If this continues, we will be left with a Justice Department leadership populated by only cowards and fools.
they're just hurting themselves that they did that. I can't imagine it, but it doesn't matter. We're having reciprocal tariffs. Whatever they charge, we charge. Very simple.
Senator Adam Schiff just spilled the beans on Trump's economic carnival ride. And it's not pretty, folks. Trump's approach to tariffs is basically the economic equivalent of a toddler playing with a light switch. On, off, except instead of just annoying everyone in the room, he's tanking entire markets. Schiff nailed it when he said what businesses need most is certainty, stability, not chaos. But chaos is Trump's middle name. Well, that and John, technically. The pattern is so predictable, it would be funny if it wasn't destroying people's retirement accounts. Trump wakes up, probably after a nightmare about stairs or windmills giving him cancer, and decides to slap tariffs on everything.
In which the law must bend to the will of its most powerful citizens, a society in which wealth and privilege mean that the law need not apply to them.
Spout the Putin line, sign up for his wish list, break up NATO, do whatever he wants to do, and that you continue to get help from him.
The markets immediately nosedive faster than his approval ratings at a fact-checkers convention. Then Trump gets scared, backs off, feels like a wimp, and re-imposes them again. As Schiff put it, Trump imposes these tariffs, he watches the markets tank, then he gets spooked and he does away with the tariffs, and then he feels like he's feckless, which he is, and he reimposes the tariffs, and then the markets tank again. It's like economic whiplash. The stock market chart during Trump's presidency looks like his EKG after climbing a single flight of stairs. Up, down, crash, panic, repeat. Wall Street executives are probably keeping cardiologists on speed dial at this point. But the real victims here aren't just nameless numbers on the stock exchange. Schiff revealed he's spoken with farmers in California's Central Valley who are still trying to recover from Trump's first presidency tariff disaster. These farmers lost massive market share they haven't been able to get back.
Associating with now the President of the United States in song were convicted of attacking police officers. Is that who we want running the FBI?
When you look at USAID, that's a fraud. The whole thing is a fraud.
While Trump was busy playing trade war general from his golden toilet, real Americans were watching their livelihoods get flushed. The most telling part? When Americans express concern about their shrinking 401ks and vanishing farm exports, Trump's brilliant advice is to have fun with these disruptions. Yes, nothing says fun like watching your retirement fund evaporate or losing contracts you've spent decades building. It's about as fun as a colonoscopy performed by Edward Scissorhands. What's truly wild is that Trump continues to brand himself as some kind of economic genius. The guy who bankrupted casinos, literally businesses where people hand you money, wants us to believe he understands global trade.
Who escaped the application of law is now charged with administering the law, in which Donald Trump has appointed his own criminal defense lawyers to top positions in the Justice Department.
I have a wonderful wife who has to listen to this stuff all the time. They do that for this reason.
Schiff exposed this fantasy by pointing out Trump doesn't have a trade policy, doesn't have an economic policy. He's just winging it like a bad improv actor who forgot the prompt was competent leadership. This tariff ping-pong is particularly devastating for businesses that need to plan ahead. As Schiff explained, businesses can't predict what prices are going to be, what their markets are going to be. Imagine trying to run a company when you have no idea if your costs will double next Tuesday because the president saw something mean about himself on CNN. It's like trying to play chess when someone keeps randomly replacing pieces with marshmallows and occasionally setting the board on fire.
Trump was able to seek endless delays in court, and the courts, understanding that motivation, mindful of the fact that justice delayed can mean justice is denied.
And prices could go up somewhat short term, but prices will also go down. And I think the farmers are going to be helped by this very much.
The markets react so badly to Trump's tariff talk because Wall Street, unlike his supporters, can do basic math. They know his policies are based on whatever Fox News told him that morning, rather than actual economic principles. His trade strategy seems to consist entirely of tweets composed while sitting on the toilet at 3 a.m. For all his talk about being a tough negotiator, Trump's economic flip-flopping shows nothing but weakness. He creates a crisis, pretends to solve it, then recreates the same crisis. Like a firefighter who keeps setting houses on fire so he can look heroic putting them out. Except in this case, the firefighter also can't operate the hose and accidentally sprays gasoline instead of water.
This is the tool that dictators and would-be dictators use to consolidate their power. They have to create a climate of fear.
I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them. I'm going to protect them from migrants coming in.
Schiff's not just criticizing Trump's economic nonsense. He's calling on all of us to do something about it. He wants Americans to speak up and tell their representatives exactly how Trump's chaotic policies are hurting them. The problem is, many people, especially farmers, are scared of getting attacked if they complain. Classic Trump intimidation tactics, right? Meanwhile, Donnie Diapers keeps running the economy like a toddler playing Monopoly with real money. While he's busy selling those ridiculous gold cards to his billionaire buddies and firing veterans who actually served our country, regular folks are watching their savings disappear. And that's exactly why Schiff says we need to make our voices heard. If we don't speak up now, Grumpy Trumpy will just keep thinking his economic tantrums are working. Spoiler alert, they're not.